My son, are you clear of mind and stout of heart?
I am.
Are you ready to sacrifice? Sacrifice everything to become the savior?
I will.
Do you have the strength to sweep aside this world and build it anew?
I must.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your guy Sway God here, and today we are going to try Path of Exile 2, made by Grinding Gears Games.
You know what really grinds my gears? Nobody's come up with a new priest and a rabbi joke in like 30 years, you know?
First off, I want to say this. I don't really play ARPGs, but I did hear a lot of hype and controversy between this and Diablo, so I had to check it out and see what all the hype was about. So everything starts 100 years after the first game, after the land of Ray class is engulfed in darkness because of the court of Alchem finding the seed of corruption. And because of his maddening power, he spreads corruption throughout and ultimately creates what's known as the Beast. You're nothing more than a prisoner here, knocking on death's door, waiting to be hanged at the gallows. And this part brings up a very dark yet clever twist to the character selection. After your character escapes to the Clearfell camp, this is where your journey truly begins. In the game, you got 3 acts. Act 1 is pretty straightforward, following a linear yet logical progression. Act 2 is a little more focused on whatever path you want to take as you decide to join the Aldera caravan and explore select locations within the land. Act 3 is similar to the first act, but it gives you more challenges and optional quests to complete, and it offers a lot of unique elements and what's said to be the best character in the game. Visually, the game looks absolutely phenomenal. Like I said, I don't really play ARPGs, so the top-down perspective was kind of a new change for me, but it's a good classic top-down perspective of a dark fantasy game, and this is where you just fight hordes of enemies. It's beautiful and imaginative details, and the story plot is rich with solid voice acting and characterization with both NPCs and the bosses you encounter along the way. With my experience playing this game, I gotta say, man, it definitely felt like I was playing an Elden Ring more so than just your typical ARPG kind of game. When it comes to locations, some of them have randomness to them, meaning dungeon entrances and other points of interest are always changing in the map, which is a bit of a challenge, especially when you're kind of new to the game and you go into one map, back out of it, and come back. You have to relearn the map again in a way, but you're always fighting hordes of enemies in between each point. You can spend anywhere between 15 to 20 minutes getting from point A to point B just to leave and have to do it all over again. Within all of this, you're encountering optional bosses that can get you permanent boosts, such as HP and spirit increases, and much more to help build out your character. Side quests are featured in here, and they will have you travel into non-essential zones to defeat powerful enemies. Within those powerful enemies, you have hordes, and they can be especially fun to fight when you come across rare ones in the midst of battle. The rare ones have unique modifiers that will require you to add some sort of new tactic to your strategy, and when it comes to boss fights, every boss fight is incredible, man. Each one offers its own unique challenge, anywhere from the smaller ones to the more epic grand bosses. Each one is its own spectacular experience. When it comes to combat, it starts off with a couple basic abilities. For me, I start off with the warrior mercenary class. I was only able to do a few things like clobber, block, dodge, but eventually I started focusing more on long range attacks with the use of crossbows and utilizing the support perks to help that out. There's so many options with builds to support gems, so you can have the build cater to your playstyle, or if you want to try something different, go ahead, go crazy. Now, when it comes to the skill tree, I was personally overwhelmed. I didn't know that skill trees like this were that extensive, but for someone new coming into Path of Exile, it was actually pretty simple to comprehend. They have little anecdotes that will help you kind of know what you're getting into, such as, say you want to upgrade specific attributes within your character, they tell you what those attributes are and give more defining information for each attribute, which for me, I thought that was extremely helpful, especially, like I said, I had no idea what I was doing getting into this game. I have yet to really delve into the end game aspect of this, but from what I've seen, it's very extensive. It gives you the opportunity to take different paths in order to get to specific points of interest. However, the only downside to this is once you get to a certain zone and you die, that zone is now blocked off, so you have to be wary of how you build and how your items stacked up against each enemy, which leads me into the crafting aspect of it. When it comes to crafting, it was pretty interesting, but it was a good concept to grasp onto pretty quickly. You have in-game currency such as orbs or actual gold or whatever to really help you upgrade your weapons and armor rarity, or you can augment the stats of each item you have, and with that can really help you get the edge on each battle. I will say for early access, this game is highly polished. The story plot coincides with your tasks, and the quest gives a good narrative pacing. At first, I thought there wasn't that many enemies, but I was totally wrong with enemy variation. This game has at least 400 types of enemies in the game, so there's definitely not a lack of variation there. The game did have a few bugs though, but for early access and playing on the Xbox Series X, it did perform very well. A couple issues I did have was, again, with the map locations. Things could be extremely far apart and you take so long getting from point A to point B. I just really wish it was a fast travel between checkpoints. And when it comes to the in-game currency, although you did get a good amount of drops, more currency in the game would have been extremely helpful, especially for people like me who don't know what's going on in the game, and we could use just a little bit more help. Another thing is when you get surrounded by enemy mobs in this game, it's extremely challenging and annoying to get out of it. The moment you get surrounded, it's like you're going against a brick wall and you're only able to do so much. So you're just stuck taking damage from all these enemies, rezzing, healing, and trying to figure out how to get out of it. Even with some of the bosses I encountered, I was rolling into a corner trying to get out, got stuck, exhausted all my potions just to get out of one spot and try to defeat this boss. That right there, I just wish there was some sort of way you can roll out, or if there was some way, some sort of mechanic to where you could push an enemy mob away. Besides those bugs and those critiques I had, this game is actually really fun, man. And if you're a hardcore fan of ARPGs, you need to scratch that itch, or if you're like me and you want to try something different, have a new change of pace, I for sure recommend this game. For $30 early access, this game has so much potential, man. So I definitely highly recommend it. I would say this time next year, this game is really going to set the standard for ARPGs, and I now understand the hype. If you made it this far, just want to say thank you. I really appreciate it. Go ahead and drop a like. Go ahead, drop in the comments. Let me know what you think about Path of Exile 2. Have you tried it? Do you want to try it? What's your build? I want to know everything in the comments. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. And I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.
Oh my god. It's so fucking good, bro. It's so fucking good. He's actually right.